Which one is it? Is it that?
If we go for the transcend, I think we can just run it off that sick. It's going to be the easiest.
Okay. So this is basically the promotional video that we put together based on what they call TV news days. Can you let us know what TV news days are, Leonie?
Yeah, basically we have a news day every Friday, and you can do it in video, audio or print. So whether you want to go into sort of like video, like TV and film, or whether you want to go into radio or papers, we have one every Friday, and it kind of runs like it would like a paper or a TV channel, and you get to use the cameras or you get to present and things like that, and then you can put together like a package, like a video and stuff like that. So yeah, this is what.
Leonie, is that your DVD that's going there?
What's that? Sorry?
So you want to be a journalist?
Yeah, that's the presentation.
Do we leave it on the
We're trying to put encryption software onto the USB, but we can just bypass it.
Do we leave the film on the?
The film's on the disc, but the
on that disc?
stick. Yeah.
Is the film that I was talking about on there as well? Sorry, Leonie, is that your video? Is that your disc or my disc?
That's your disc. Mine's
Okay.
just on the stick.
Oh, okay. So there should be a film on there.
Yeah, just good.
A signal compromise when he's in hospital with an infection. I can't relate to it. No chance. You wanted the hospital, right? Yeah, but he wasn't meant to be in hospital. He's dead. He's not meant to be dying.
Just pop up. Will it pop up?
Yeah, it should just pop up under there, or just down the side there. We can try to read that.
Will it be confusing that you've got the stick in as well?
No, that's all. No, it's just spinning there. The ability to make it readable and check devices through control panels. What?
Are you convinced the dog will swim now?
Okay, the video is not being read, unfortunately. So I'm not going to show you that. But what it would have shown you, as Leonie was saying, is what we do every Friday or every third Friday if you're working on TV. Is put together a TV programme. And it also showed some of our students who've recently been out to Poland as part of the Holocaust Memorial Day. Did anyone see that? Anyone got that? Yeah, so they've gone out and what they've done is they've made some films of themselves visiting Auschwitz, the Auschwitz concentration camp, and they've made a sort of a media artifact of their trip there. And that was all part of the work that they put forward towards their degree. So it was rather good. Unfortunately, it doesn't work. So, as I say, it was definitely working when I left over this audience, so there must be some kind of failure to cover it up. So we'll move on to the next thing. So, Leonie.
So it should be just under transcend. Just go cancel there. That should be okay. And it should cancel. And cancel again.
Cancel again.
Yeah, cancel again. And there we go.
Cool. So basically, I know all of you don't want to go into journalism and some of you want to go into video and various other things. But we've got a course at university called Multimedia Journalism, so it covers all aspects like video, audio, print, everything like that. So I just want to go around the room and kind of get an idea of what people want to do at university, whether it's like video, whether you want to go into sort of sports, news, anything like that. So you'd just like to tell me your name?
James.
James, and what kind of thing would you like to go into?
Radio production.
Radio production. Cool.
Television.
Television. Yeah.
Andrew.
Ethan from
Graphic.
Nice. Colour and production.
Your name's Marcus.
Oh, Marcus.
Marcus.
Nice. Thanks, Brilliant. So we explained before, we do a lot of like news days, which are basically getting you into what it's like going to be an industry. So along the degree, you'll get to like do all the academic stuff, like theoretical stuff. But most of the degree is like practical stuff. So you'll always be going out and getting stories. You'll always be filming or doing things for radio. We've got a radio station at uni called Click Radio, and it's basically like a live radio station. So you can just sit in there and you can put your own shows together, whether you want to talk about sports or news or anything you want. You can do anything, absolutely anything you want. And you can edit the podcast as well, and then you have like your own little packages to put in your portfolio. Same with news days as well. With the video, you can make your own videos, film them in the studio. You can get guests in, and you can interview people. And like the amount of people you get access to, like people in like politics or even like local celebrities and stuff like that. Like if you're part of Teesside Uni, you can kind of say, oh, I'm the editor of the news day, and you can get contacts and things like that. So it's very industry based, and it's not really like whereas at college you do a lot of academic stuff. When you get to uni, it's all down to like whatever you want to do, like go sort of thing.
Can I just mention one other thing? Who's interested in sport? Anyone interested in sport? Anyone in sport? Middlesbrough Football Club? Well, one of the things that we have an arrangement with the club whereby we get a season ticket for a third year to go and cover the matches every Saturday. Hopefully that will continue if and when they get in the Premiership next season. We'll see. But we're hopeful at the moment. It's only been in place a long time. So what you would be required to do, and obviously it's not just open to blokes, it's open to women as well if they're interested in sport. Is to go along to the match and to provide a match report for either Teesside, the paper version, or we have a web version of this as well. And you also get a chance to go into the mix area. Do you know what the mix area is? It's basically where you get to mingle in a very limited way with the players and the manager. You've seen it on Match Today, haven't you, when they come out all breathless and sweating, and they manage to grab a few words from the players. That's the kind of mix area, so you get to work in there. So if you did that, you'd be working alongside professional sports writers, top football writers, that sort of thing. And you also go along to the weekly press conferences, so you can go and grill the manager about the team's latest performance. Next season, the battle against relegation, so you're going to go up and battle for promotion in the same town. See how it is. So that's the sort of thing that you can do as part of the news days. So that's a position that we would interview for the third year. So it's just worth bearing in mind if that's something that might interest you eventually. Which is very similar.
And also by the time you get to third year, you can choose to be an editor. So if you're doing sort of print, like I'd say our newspaper is definitely more of a magazine than a newspaper. Like it's on newspaper material, but it's definitely more like a magazine, and that's what we've tried to kind of mould it into over the years. And when you're in third year, you can be an editor, so you could be a fashion editor or a lifestyle editor. With Newsdays, you could be like a TV producer or an editor, and with radio the same as well. So when you leave uni, that looks amazing on your CV, and you can talk about interviews and say, look, I've been the editor of this paper, and this is sort of what I've created, which is really good as well.
Do you know the difference between sort of news and features?
Let's have a go at explaining it. Who's not it? Yeah, then we go explaining what the difference between news and features is. So, what do you think of when you think of a news story?
Politics.
Yeah. So a real life story, so something which is very factual, based on facts. So how? For example, might be good. A good example of a news story might be the fact that anyone think what big news story that broke over the weekend. Big thing that happened. Princess Charlotte, yes. Isn't she lovely? Beautiful little baby. Didn't that help your heart?
It's more of a national, that's more of a regional human interest story. It doesn't really apply much to...
What, the royal story? The birth of the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're talking my language there, because I have to agree with you. Unfortunately, the rest of the media went absolutely gaga for the story. Did you happen to have the misfortune to turn the telly on Saturday afternoon?
I didn't turn it on.
Yeah.
You didn't turn it on?
No.
Was it the right thing?
Yeah.
It wasn't worth it?
I don't like it. It's like
Constant.
It's like last time the baby was born, they cancelled all the programmes. I was like, you're taking it.
Really?
I wanted to watch the TV and I was stuck watching
I
that.
take it you're not a royalist then?
No.
Really? What are you going to say?
Well, these days the media is focusing more on what people are caring about, but really they need to be telling people what they need to care about, like what's happened, like the avalanche that's happened, or what's happening recently with politics.
Well, that's a very good point. So, is the media didn't they get too hung up on these frivolous, silly stories about little babies and that sort of thing? I think we should all the time be learning about people being plucked from tons of rubbish in Kathmandu. Do you think?
I just think there needs to be balance.
Yeah, you've got the right point. You've got the right point. So, just get back to I was talking about between you were talking about a magazine. So when we're talking about a magazine, we're talking about stuff which is more featurey, rather than more newsy. So a featurey story will tend to be longer, more and allows you to put more of your opinion into it. So for example, you could write a nice feature about how brassed off you were on Saturday afternoon to turn on the telly, and there you were expecting to watch Come Dine With Me or something. Watch back to back Come Dine With Me, 8 episodes in a row. That's how I spend my Saturday afternoon. Anyway, so you could write a piece about that, couldn't you? So that would be the kind of featurey sort of thing you might be looking to do. Whereas I come from a sort of news background, right, and I want to write about sort of, I'm more with you. What's going on in Kathmandu, what's going on in Nepal, who's winning this election, look at what Ed Miliband's done now, or that sort of thing. So you're starting to see a kind of difference between what a feature is and a news stories. So this is going ever more featurey based and ever more magazine-y based, much to my annoyance. But unfortunately, it's up to the students. There's nothing to do about it. So sorry.
And news is changing so much as well. I mean, if you go on Facebook, does anyone look at BuzzFeed at all? Anyone want to admit they go on BuzzFeed, or them stupid little stories like top 10 blah blah blah?
Who knows what a listicle is?
Yeah.
No one must know what a listicle is, don't they?
Sort of like a list of, say, like top 10 things that northern people do, or something like that.
It's going to be 7, isn't it? Or 8,
And you get stupid little videos on YouTube as well, and you sit and watch them for hours and you can't get off them. Well, that's like the new journalism, and that's where, as much as we don't like to admit it, that is moving into that region as well. So if you enjoy Facebook and you enjoy social media, it's all about that now, like just trying to gather audiences and trying to get their attention.
So your challenge is going to be, if like me, you think it's more important to learn about the situation in Nepal than it is to learn about Princess Charlotte's just had her first nappy changed, for example, right? Then our trick, or our job, what we need to work out is how to use the new platforms. You know what I mean by platforms? Like website or social media or TV or radio or newspaper. They're what we call different platforms. We need to work out how we can tell our interesting, important, not boring, important stories on these various platforms. So that's the great challenge for you guys. For me, my generation, it was print, TV, radio. For you, unfortunately, you've got a great wide variety of different outlets that you can place your content. Yeah, so that's why we need people like you who are fully conversant with these platforms to kind of reinterpret stories in a new way. So you're very lucky because you're in the midst of a revolution. You might not realise it the way this is happening. Yeah, so it's up to you to kind of make that revolution. Yeah.
Is anyone here thinking of going to Teesside? Just raise their hands. Anyone who's thinking of going to Teesside? Anyone else? Is anyone going to any other local unis or unis?
Sunderland. You'd be alright. You went from Sunderland, yeah.
Cool. Because at Teesside, I'm not showing us where you went like that. At Teesside we have the NCTJ. Has anyone heard of what the NCTJ is? It's the National Council for Trained Journalists, and it's a diploma. And basically, in some other unis, you don't get the NCTJ included, and you end up paying like thousands extra, you know.
Yeah, hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds extra for this course. But at Teesside we have it in the course, and it's basically like if you want to be any kind of journalist, audio, TV or print, it's like an essential part of your career to be an NCT trained journalist. And it's got things like law, public affairs, shorthand, things like that. Has anyone heard of shorthand before? Yeah, you've heard of shorthand before? Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see on the slide here.
That's how you write down your notes.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
quite
Also put my notepad in. I can just
yeah. Jonathan will be able to show you. But it looks like a different language. It looks really weird at first, but it's basically like a secret language that journalists use. And it's basically, if you're interviewing someone, you can write like so much faster in shorthand than you can in longhand. So it's an essential part if you're interviewing and things like that.
That's what it looks like.
It's really weird. But if you're working for magazines, you'll learn that as well, because when you're interviewing like celebrities and you don't want to miss anything they said, then shorthand's just the best thing to do.
It looks like Arabic, doesn't it?
It's really strange.
Sometimes when I try and read it back, I think it's Arabic.
And the good thing about shorthand as well is most of the time you can only read your own shorthand, so you can write whatever you want, and if anyone finds your notes, like they have no idea what you're talking about. So it's really useful. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. The thing about being a journalist is you wouldn't expect, I know we're not dealing with the same level of importance all the time, but you wouldn't expect a doctor to sort of perform an operation, or a surgeon to perform an operation on you, would you? Unless they'd been properly trained. Or you wouldn't want to go and see a lawyer if they hadn't, they're just going off the street and would just have given it their best that day, would you? So it's the same with journalists. You do need to have quite a high level of training in order to be safe. When I would say safe, I mean legally safe in what you write. Because there's nothing worse than writing something nasty about someone and getting a letter from their lawyer saying that they're going to take you to court and take loads of money away from them and sue you for loads of money, which I'm sorry to say has happened to me on a couple of occasions. It's happened to most journalists at some point during their career. So you need to be conversant about the law. And the other thing you need to be, you need to know how things work. Yeah, I think it's true. Yeah, exactly. You've got to be well, this is the big skill in journalism, which a lot of people don't realise. The big skill is finding stuff out. Yeah, it's very, very hard to do. Do you know why that might be? I think it might be hard to find stuff out. Yeah, exactly. Because the stuff you want to find out, people don't want to tell you. If people don't want to tell you, they do all sorts of things to stop you finding out, including writing very strong letters from their lawyers to you to tell you, you're wrong, stop, this is wrong, we're going to take you to court, blah, blah, blah. So you need to be very confident that you know what you're doing in terms of the law, in terms of being factually correct about things you write about. So that means knowing about how Parliament might work, how councils might work, how the European Union might work. You need to know how government works, that sort of thing. And actually, you might be looking at me in a slightly disbelieving way. It's actually very interesting once you get into it. Yeah.
It sounds quite heavy as well at the moment. Like you might think, oh, law. Like I just want to write, or I just want to feel like I don't really want to do law or politics. But it's really very basic stuff. And like once you get your head around it, you can go places like you would never be able to go before. Because if you're clear on the law, like you can say, look, I know this law. This is my right to do this. So like the stuff that you'd create like by film or radio or print is like so much better because you can do it and you've got the capacity to do it as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it gives you confidence to know what you're doing, and also it gives you a knowledge of where you can find stories and where you can find films or radio pieces. Yeah. So it's about just learning a bit about the world and the way it works. It's rather cool.
We've also got someone at Teesside called Claire Fletcher, and she basically does like projects and placements, and she's like really special to us and like really essential because if you ever need anything to do with careers, sort of like if you've done a CV and you need to send it off, or if you've got an interview the next day, or you want work experience, she's always there. So like any help you need, you know, and she's brilliant. And some of the experience she can get you as well, like. There's like the Sun's magazine, isn't there, and Country Living, BBC Tees, the Gazette. Like there's so many different placements you can do while you're at Teesside, and it's so easy. She'll just hook you up with contacts and then help you perfect your application and then just send it off, and like you get so much support. Like it might be quite intimidating going into a newsroom or going into a broadcasting station or something for the first time, but once you've got that much support, you just really want to do it once you get there.
One of the things that we build into the degree is professional development. So that basically entails you learning about the world of work and how to engage with employers during. We can start that from the first year. So, for example, I've been working with first years this year, and they've been learning how to put together job applications and CVs, covering letters. And in the second year, they're very excited because was it the third year? We put them through a mock interview. They have to dress up in a suit, they have to come in, and we give them a proper grilling. Like you would do at a job interview. Actually, you don't get job interviews, that's good. But we put them through their paces, so that they can really get a feel for what it's like. So how many of you have actually been for a job interview? How did it feel?
Alright.
Was it alright? Did you get it? Sorry? I had an interview this morning. Okay, that's topical. Right. Well, when you go for a graduate job, which is what we'd be hoping you'd be looking out for, obviously it's quite formal. They're normally interviewing a range of people from across the country. A lot of people will have degrees just the same as you. Yeah. So what we try and do is to give you something that will make you stand out, whether it's work experience, whether it's your ability to handle a job interview. Because a lot of people are very surprised when they come for these work interviews, because we film them and then we show them back to them. And say, oh, I believe I was going, like, what? Did all that. It's like I did then. But it's very surprising how you can improve your technique very, very easily with a few simple pointers, and that's the sort of thing that Claire and the others in the department will help you do. So it can be quite useful, very useful.
It's funny as well because when you go to meet like prospective employers, you don't realise how many skills you've got until you actually go. Like with video and audio stuff, that might seem like a second nature to you. Like I don't know if you've already been doing it, but you might feel like that's just a second nature to you, and like, oh, I can make a video or I can make audio. But when you go to an employer, they just can't believe like the skills you've got.
Is this a good opportunity to show your site?
Yeah.
Project. Do you remember how to sign into it? So what we've been doing is for the final year project. So this is the main component of the final year work, which goes towards the final degree mark. So the third years have been split into 8 groups. As part of the main thing they have to do is create a website which they research, design, and create, put it together, and then have to populate it with content, so stories, videos, radio, etc., etc. And they have to, a lot of them have staged events to drive traffic to the website. They've used social media, they've used Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, and various other. Can you remember yours?
No, I usually click through like links
Yeah.
to the direct. You know what the direct link?
No, no,
No.
no. This will be another failure in our technology, is it?
This is awkward.
Okay, all right. Let me look it up. We'll talk about
Okay,
something
yeah.
else. Yeah.
Cool.
You go on. So this has been a major thing that everyone's had to do, and the quality this year has been 8 sites, and they're absolutely phenomenal. Leonie's was called Big North Crowd, and it was. Well, you want to talk a little bit about it, or shall I find the link?
It's basically like an online magazine, but it's focused in the northeast. So it's got like a northeast identity, and we had stuff on like entertainment, politics, and all that kind of thing. So it was really interesting because we'd go out like during the week. We had this thing called Live Week, and the whole week we'd have this website that we've built, and we'll build contacts for it, and then we'll just go out and get stories and make videos and make podcasts and stuff like that. And like some of the people you meet is just like crazy. Like, has anyone watched X Factor? Know who Lucy Spraggan is?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lucy Spraggan. Well, on the 9th, as like a late interview type thing, we're going down to Newcastle to interview Lucy Spraggan and the two of us, and we got that contact through our website. Samantha Dernan, if anyone knows who she is. We've got an actress who's now going into Game of Thrones. Just some of the contacts you get is just unreal, isn't it?
Yeah, so a lot of it's about making your own contacts, finding people you want to talk to, tracking them down, arranging to interview them, turning up, doing the interview, filming it, bringing it back, editing it, sticking it up on the site, writing a story about it with text, maybe pulling off some stills to put some pictures on the website, then putting out a tweet to promote it with a line and a link, putting it on Facebook. Start what we were talking about earlier about building audiences across platforms. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing we'll be looking for you to do as well. And the level of them, well, we had very little in terms of choosers. We had very little involvement, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was pretty much self-conceived and realised.
You can do a site on whatever you want as well. You can have like a gaming site, or you can do a fashion site, or just anything you're interested in.
Yeah.
You can just.
Well,
mold it around that.
one of the groups there was called Fashion Fun.
Yeah.
We did 60-second fashion videos about all the guys switching off now. 60-second videos about clothes and shoes and other stuff. You can see me not knowing anything about it. But they also staged a fashion show at the Union with loads of people.
Yeah.
I didn't go, but there was about 100 people there, weren't there? And they got models in, they got the clothes, they got the clothes from local shops, didn't they? Got the models, their mates and anyone else they put the force into doing it, and they got them to march up down the catwalk. They filmed it, they tweeted it, and they made a story out of it, and it was absolutely top hole, really good indeed. So that's the sort of thing you can do if you like fashion. They've got more people interested in fashion, and that's something we're developing as well.
We also do a lot of placements. We do this placement called a boost placement, and it's during the summer, and it's for 6 weeks, and you actually get paid for it. So it's like a normal job, but you can go to all different places on industry experience. So you can go to like anyone familiar with Mima or go to Mima? Yeah. Well, you can get a placement at Mima, and then you'll get paid for it, and you'll learn all new things. And that's really great as well, because when perhaps you don't have a lot of money in the summer, you can just go there and get work experience. And it might lead to a job at the end of it as well. There's been a few people on our course who have gone into things like, there's a girl called Lucy, and she works for BBC Tees, so she's like actually employed to work in radio, and like that's her job now, which is absolutely amazing.
Well, another thing that some of the students are doing this summer, has anyone heard of the Teesside Festival? Teesside Festival? It's a festival down in North Yorkshire. I think it's playing there this year, but they have also the big artists playing there most years, and we've got a number of students who will be working there over the summer, doing their social media, working on the events, that kind of thing, and they get paid, it's about 300 quid a week, so it's pretty good. I wouldn't mind doing it, to be honest, it would be really good fun. So there's dozens and dozens of different work placements you can do during the summer, which A, their money, so that's good. B, they make your CV look better, and C, they give you contacts out in the industry or potential industry you want to be in. because one of the biggest things that you need when you're trying to build a career in media is contacts. Well, by contacts, I mean people you know, who you work with, who can help you, who will give you a hand to achieve the things you want to do, the opportunity. So hopefully, that's the kind of thing we can build.
Yeah, and you can go abroad as well. Like, I don't know if anyone's looked into Camp America, or has anyone been to Camp America or thought about it?
Do you know what it is?
You thought about it, yeah. Well, Camp America, or you can go to Wild Packs, two different organisations that are really great. You can go there and you can either do like sports and stuff like that. Like, a lot of people know it for doing sports, but you can go there and do film, or you can be a photographer and things like that. Like in 2013, I went to camp in New York, and I done photography for like 2 months, and it was amazing because you get paid for it, and you're in America for 2 months. Like, there's nothing better than that. And every day you use new skills as well, so you can just come back and be like this is a new skill that I've just learned. So that's like ridiculous.
I'd like to do that as well. And another thing that our students are doing next year is we have an arrangement with the University of Barcelona in Spain, and they're doing the first semester and a half at the university in Spain, where they'll do media courses there, and then they'll hopefully learn a bit of Spanish or Catalan, and they'll come back and then slot back into their studies. But of course they'll have learned a whole load of new stuff there. Living in another country, hopefully a bit of Spanish, whatever special skills they've got at this university, whatever things they've learned from the people there, contacts, lifelong friends. So it's a big part of our learning journey, as we like to say, during the course of the 3 years you were there. So it's basically anything you can go out and do it.
We've got a really good student union as well. I don't know if anyone's looked into like unis and their student unions, but we have like loads of clubs and societies. So if you're interested in like any kind of sports, like we do cheerleading, girls football, boys football, loads of different things like that. We've got like gaming societies, video production societies, where you just get together a few times a week and you just like do what you love basically, and that's really good to have on your CV as well. Because even if you're in the cheerleading team or the sports team, and you can say, I've been the captain in the cheerleading team, and it's just amazing. Like, a lot of people think, oh, that's an American thing and stuff like that, but it is such good fun, and you just get to spend time with people who like enjoy what you're doing, and you're not just sitting in a classroom like bored basically. So it's really, really good. And
the thing to remember about university is that the academic side of that is only really 50%. The other side is stuff you do socially, people you get friends with. I mean, I'm still friends with people I met at university, that's like 3 million years ago. So you do stay friends. It's a very important time in life, and an opportunity which you will never have again to learn new things and to try new things out. I'm sure everyone's got local tells you this, I know your tutors here about the importance of that. They stress the academic side. So there's two sides you need to think about.
Sage is the most important part, like when you go to uni, is don't turn anything down. Like, don't sort of like judge things and say, oh no, I won't do that or I won't need that, because some of the things that come your way you'll be like, well, like, I never expected that. But the best bit of advice I give to going to uni is just take anything you can, just do whatever you can, because the worst thing about leaving uni is leaving it and having regret. Like, it is, like, I'd love to be in your position right now, just sitting there thinking, oh, I'm about to go to uni, because it's honestly the best thing you will ever do. It really is. I know it sounds stupid, it sounds like I'm just talking rubbish, but it really, really is. I'm like, yes, it's going to be amazing. I'm pretty sure it's lovely.
Are you all thinking about university? I say yes. Everyone, no. Why not? For what reason?
I just prefer going out on Australia and my own money without
Yeah. So it's the fees, is it, to really put you off? And even though the decision's yours, even though those fees are paid off when you can afford to pay it at a later time, when you're that doesn't.
I'd rather just like find my own, have little debts and stuff.
Yeah. And have you seen these figures that show that you can earn more money with a degree over the course of your? Yeah, they still don't convince you. Fair dues. Yeah.
That's fine, like everyone's into different things.
Totally.
You know, if university's not for you, it's not for you. And in if a few years, if I mean, you're still young, so in a few years if you decide you want to go back to uni, then you're totally free to do that.
Yeah. Everyone else thinking about university? Definitely. Yeah. So then we've got one Sunderland, a couple for Teesside. So where are the others? Where are the rest of you thinking?
Teesside, Hartlepool.
Hartlepool, yeah. And you're going to do film, TV production. So what sort of TV shows do you like making? What sort of TV shows do you like watching and stuff? Put you on the spot. That's the question they're always going to ask you, isn't it? What do you like watching? Because I always say to people who are interested in writing, like, what do you like reading? Yeah. What books do you like reading? Who likes reading books? Yeah. What sort of books do you like? Harry Potter. In effect, yeah, that's a good. If you want to be a journalist, you've got to just read all the time. About what do you like reading?
It's a book called Wild Swans from the 1800s.
The Chinese one.
No,
Wild Swans.
No, the original.
Oh, is it Chinese? It's not about set in China. No. It's not called Wild Swans, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So reading, a bit like with TV or with film or radio. If you like any of those things, you've got to do it. You've got to like. As a writer, you've got to read to write. There's no way of breaking that link. Yeah. Because writing's quite hard work. So everyone loves being a writer, but no one actually likes writing. Right? But thinking about writing, like having written something, but the bit in the middle of actually doing it is hard work. And it gets easier if you read. Can you know why that might be? Why do you think it might be easier if you read? Exactly, yeah. It's a polite way of saying that we copy. Yeah. So that's what you do as a writer. You find other writers that you like, and you copy the way they do it. Not what they write, just the style, just the way that they do it. And then after you've copied enough, but like anything, if you see a child learning to walk or doing anything, they do it by copying. Yeah. It's the same with we do as writers. We're doing it, if we're smart, we do it throughout our careers. We continue to write, continue to read. When I do it now, when I see someone that I see a construction that I like, I'll kind of note it and then I'll basically copy it next time I'm doing something or a version of it. Yeah. So what about filmmakers then? What sort of films do you like watching? Filmmakers. Everyone gives you a long silent look.
One with the universe built within it with an extended continuity.
Right, okay, what's that? Can you explain that? I don't really...
Interconnecting storylines,
Yes.
like a universe built around like Star Wars and Harry Potter.
Oh, I see. So like big saga type things, yeah. So it's so something like that. So what else? You got Star Wars, you got Harry Potter. What other?
Well, some movies are good as a one-off. I mean, because they don't make good enough impact that they just need to be a sequel.
Right. Yeah. But most films have a sequel now, don't they?
Yeah.
Why do you think that might be?
Usually they make money.
Spot on. Spot on. Your presentation.
No, that's everything.
Yeah.
If anyone's got any questions about anything they might be unsure of, like any facilities at the uni or anything you're looking to do at uni, absolutely anything that might be niggling in your head, like no matter how small it is. If anyone's got any questions.
Do you get a lot of access to the equipment here? Can you take out cameras and make films? And so you're all used to doing that. Yeah. What sort of format do your films come back in? Are you making fictions or documentaries or? Yeah. And do you do that as part of your? What are you doing? You're doing the A levels in media, right? Or BTECs. Okay. And what are you required to do for that then, in terms of producing media? Do you have to produce a film, or do you have to produce
Yeah, we have to produce films and like, it varies from film to like,
yeah. So what's your film about then?
At the moment, I haven't got one at the moment.
And when do you have to have it done by?
Oh, I do have one that I'm filming tomorrow, like a
film noir kind of thing.
Yeah.
That has to be done for a couple of weeks, I think.
Film noir.
Yeah.
So that's quite exciting. What's that all about?
It's like a detective kind of like a 1950s.
Yeah. So how do you have to costume that? And
Yeah, we work with a bunch of actors
Yeah.
who can give it back and they get assigned to them and then we work with it.
so there's a drama in
Yeah.
school, and how do you find the relationship working with the actors?
Some of them are alright.
What? What? Is Kennedy problematic?
Sometimes I find that working with the actors, there's a difference of priorities, let's say. That when you book our performing arts students or our actors and actresses to turn up, they're not always the most reliable.
Ah, right, okay. I understand that. It's the artistic temperament.
Everyone wants to fight everyone.
Really? What, the filmmakers want to find everyone actor?
Yeah, there's like
Really?
one or two that
Yes.
everyone likes and everyone wants to be put with them.
Really?
Not because no one likes anyone else.
They don't like their acting?
Or
Really?
it's like they're just too loud and it's like, oh, at least never laugh until we
Yeah.
actually get some kicked on and then just sit there and like, I just want to be shut up.
Anyway, yeah, when you get to uni as well, you'll get put with people that perhaps you might not agree with as well, but it's just kind of separating like
Yes.
how you feel about them personally and how you feel about them professionally.
Because one of the things that we do a lot, try and do a lot of group working, and it's always the personalities which are the issue. It's never the content or what you're doing. Everyone can do that. It's like working together. But actors, yeah, I kind of know where you're coming from. Anyone else got any other points you'd like to raise? Anyone want to talk about? Yeah. Anyone want to talk about working in newspapers or stories that they're interested in, or things they've seen in the news that they might want to write about or film about? How do you think you might go about making a film based in Middlesbrough about the birth of that Princess Charlotte then? How would you do that? Do you think anyone in Middlesbrough gives some monkeys about it?
No.
So what do you think you do if you're going to make a film about it? How would you, if you were approaching it with that idea?
Talking about multimedia, people completely out of promotion and all the difference.
So how would you tell that in terms of your piece? How would you work? Sorry, I'm a bit of a robot here, but how would you do that? With who knows what we call that? Call those things. Vox pops, excellent. Who's done vox pops in the past? Who loves doing vox pops? Why don't you like doing vox pops?
I don't mind doing it. I think it's because like most people like pick my internet. It's like people. So it's like whenever like we've gone out in a group,
Yeah.
I'm the loudmouth who asks everyone, and then like they just sort of,
I know you're not allowed that. You're really confident.
and like they just stand there with the mic, and I'm the one who like actually has to go ask them and ask the question.
But have you found that anyone's ever been anything other than really friendly and polite when you've stopped to ask them?
No,
Yeah, exactly.
like, if yeah.
Well, that's another problem. Yeah. I think, my newspaper I used to work for is to have highfalutin ideas about going to places and asking people about developments of the European Union elections or what have you, or the European parliamentary elections, and you turn up somewhere some rainy Tuesday afternoon in Barnsley town centre and start talking about the Euro elections. And no one had heard of it. Like, literally, no one stopped. And then you ring up London and you say, this is not working. They didn't believe it. Because of course they live in a bubble where they think everyone's talking about this stuff and everyone's entirely fascinated by it. And of course, well, they don't. Do they not care, or they just don't know enough about it to engage?
I think it depends on the subject.
Yeah.
So like say like politics and like say like elections and stuff, like some people are interested because like quite a few people still vote, but then you've also got like the ones who don't vote. But like I think it also depends on the area as well.
Yes.
So it's like if like London, like politics is quite a big thing. So like a lot of people are interested in it.
But it's a big, isn't it a big thing up here as well?
Yeah, I know, but I just don't think people care about this. Yeah.
All right, here's a question. Who's 18 here? Who's voting on Thursday?
I don't know.
So you're a definite to vote? Yeah. So, journalistically, elections are a big deal, aren't they? You must have turned on the telly and seen the wall to
I've
wall.
seen a lot of it, but I don't know how each of the person in the country.
And is that because you've chosen not to, or do you think you've not been informed enough by
I
the
don't
media?
think I'm on it, but if I was registered to vote as well, I'd still probably not be able to vote.
Really?
Like, I'm registered to vote and that, but I don't have a clue what I'm voting for.
You see,
Like,
'cause
at all, I'm just like, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know, like, all this stuff about it, like, no one's told me now.
so where would you get your information from? Or the media? Because one of the things we're doing on Thursday night is we're getting students to go out to the counts. Have you seen the election counts where everyone stands up? Everyone goes into the little box, into the church hall, wants a little square, so they cross on the square, they take them, put them in a box, take them all to a church hall or a leisure centre or something, and they count them all, and then normally about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, they have the announcement where they
I
see.
suppose that because you're doing that in the June war, those are more something happening anymore.
Exactly.
But some people don't get that. Like, some people are like, oh, it doesn't affect me now.
But if you're in the media, for example, and you want to make films, make stories, etc., isn't that the kind of thing you might want to make stories about? Make pieces about?
I think also it depends on the filmmaker or whatever, because like, it just might not be what some people are doing.
Yeah.
And that, like,
But it's like saying you're not into life, though, isn't it? If you're not into politics.
well, no, because I don't like politics, I don't like it. I wouldn't want to go and make a documentary all out about it because I don't like it. I'd rather go out and make like, say, a documentary about something that I do like, and not politics.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm into politics. Full time.
Um,
Right. So on Thursday night, our students will be going out to the counts, and they'll hopefully be staying up till the results till 5 o'clock in the morning. And then they're coming in the next morning on Friday. And we're going to put it all together into a TV show and a radio show, and we're not going to do the paper. We're going to update the website. And hopefully, we're going to be there at this historic moment when we find out what the new government's going to be like. Yeah. Does that sound like the kind of thing that might appeal? Yeah. So could you find are you registered to vote?
If I'm on the page, I'll put someone else.
Interesting.
like you're saying like what I'm doing, like I'm not just got something what I'm doing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
What things are much more.
So what sort of stories would you like? Are you interested in telling them? You're not interested in telling political ones? What kind of
I'm
stuff?
a royalist.
You're a royalist.
I don't like the Royals either.
so do you like the Royals? Right, so you're the division there then. So the sort of film you might like to make about the birth of Princess Charlotte would be coming from a different perspective, wouldn't it? So you might like to go out, where do you think, if you went into Elizabeth Town Centre, do you think you might find royalists there? Well, that's interesting. So you think more affluent people are more likely to be royalists? I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
I think it's the lifestyle.
Yeah. And so you've got your people talking. What about finding some experts to talk to? What if you might find an expert to discuss your story with them? The university?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you went to like the city, I think you'd have more than.
So if you could write a story and make a film about Middlesbrough, what would it be about? What would it be about? What would your angle be?